Welcome to the Mismatch. I'm Chris Vernon, and joining me as he does every week from TheRinger.com is Dave Jacoby. Jacoby!
Verno, so much has happened since our show on Tuesday. There is so much to discuss, but we have to start in Europe with your Grizzlies. You've seen it. We've all seen it. The press conference with Ja, the weird Vince Williams conversation that I've watched 100 times. I've seen all the lip readers of the dub over what they said. I still have no idea what they're arguing about or what the problem is between the two of them. I need you, our Grizzlies guy, to explain what is going on in Berlin with your team.
All right. So we were together on Tuesday and Tuesday evening while I was in New York City. And Wednesday, I flew back. We recorded on Tuesday, and I laid out a scenario in which maybe cooler heads prevail. Maybe after a 9.5-hour flight to Berlin, and you're around your teammates, and you realize you're going to you're not going to get traded to where you want to get traded to, then maybe you just decide, you know what? I've been going about this all wrong. If my goal is to get a max contract, the best thing I can do is play at an all-NBA level. If my goal is to get traded to a desired location, my best opportunity is to play at an all-NBA level, and maybe everything could get worked out, and everybody realizes that they would be better if the situation works itself out rather than come to a head and make a trade that everybody ends up regretting. Okay. By the time I got on a plane on Wednesday, that was all off the table. All of it. That press conference was a disaster. One of the worst press conferences I've ever seen in my life. Because, and it is just like, even if you're done, you've got a fight, you want out, whatever. The guy was laid up in absolute softball. He had just been to an arena where every little kid in the arena is wearing Morant shoes and jerseys on Sunday. And he has laid up the softball of all softballs, which is to separate himself from organization, make himself a complete martyr in the situation, right? Like, I don't want to go anywhere. They want to trade me, that kind of thing, right? Even if that's not so, you've got that opportunity. So he's laid up a softball by Drew Hill, one of the outstanding beat writers for the Grizzlies. And it's basically
also a great R&B group, but continue.
Also a great R&B group. And he says, basically, you've seen all the reaction from Grizzlies fans regarding all of this. And the first thing he says is, I haven't really seen it, which is bogus. There's nobody more online than him. The second thing he says is, I don't think people should be worried about how other people feel. They should be worried about how I feel. And when I saw that press conference come across, I'm like, okay, bro. Okay. Like, you have a chance here to, this is the easiest thing to navigate ever. Right? I love the Memphis fans. I'm so, I understand how many people support it. It's it's an unfortunate situation. There's a million things you can say. That's not the one. You've got all these people that love you, all these people that support you, all these people that have fought off people that have come after you for the last 7 years. And your answer is, I don't think anybody should worry about what other people think. They should worry about what I think. And then you have the kerfuffle, whatever it is, with Vince Williams that goes viral. And then, most importantly, he's ruled out of the game. He's not playing in the game. That's the most important thing of all of this, is that he wasn't playing, which was obviously a disaster, because the NBA, I had a buddy who was over there send me a picture of what's it called? The souvenir stand. Bro, it's all Morant stuff. Like, the reason
I bet there's some Wagner Brothers.
No. I'm saying on the Memphis side.
Okay, yeah.
On the Memphis side, it's Morant stuff everywhere. Like, he is despite his play, despite his inactivity, he is a global star. And he was on this huge stage, and Adam Silver is giving his press conference, and he's saying it's disappointing, and hopefully he'll play in London. But I mean, make no mistake, a major reason why Memphis was selected to be in these games is because he is part of the Memphis organization and because he does have this global superstardom. And so the whole thing is just a debacle. And then you have the whole he's bought a house in Miami in December. And then you have a leak from his side saying his preferred destination is Miami. And it's like, okay, like now, and I thought it was hilarious watching Amazon Prime yesterday. This is why I love the Amazon crew and why having somebody like Udonis Haslem on the broadcast is so instructive. When he was walking into the arena and Udonis Haslem says, there's no way you bring that much jewelry if you think you're going to play.
You're going to play. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so the whole thing, it's very clear. It's over. It's over.
All right. So when we last spoke on Tuesday in person,
yep,
I likened you to sort of a boyfriend is still trying to hold on to a relationship that's clearly over. Or have you let go of your relationship with Ja Morant and the Grizzlies?
No,
or do you still hold hope?
No. Listen. Now, let me be clear. And when we talked about that, obviously, we posted the clip about me saying my option is a girl with a mangled face and one eye. Understand that the reason that I think that the reason I felt the way that I did, and honestly, like still do, is because I don't think either's going to be better off because of it. Right. So, I mean, if you are coaching somebody through a relationship through this, and look, I am a massive sports fan and I love my teams and I have been through this before. Right. I watched Albert Pujols leave and go into total obscurity in Los Angeles. And then end up coming back and hitting a 700th home run to a place that truly loves him. And I watched Micah Parsons leave in the offseason from a team that I root for. And then I'm watching Monday Night Football, and Chris Collinsworth says, I talked to Jerry Jones and I talked to Micah Parsons. And basically everybody regrets that the situation turned out the way that it did. And it's like, this stuff happens. Everybody gets mega emotional. And then you look up and you go, all right, was this better for you? And was this better for me? Like, I have always thought the best case scenario is that this somehow gets worked out. Now, if this is, one of the things that has been brought up locally that has not been brought up all that much nationally is, and maybe it will if there is a trade or whatever, you usually end up seeing all of the dirt come out. But there's a lot of people that feel like this all goes back to because he was given a chance to bury the coach in that press conference and he didn't. And he was like, yeah, coach is cool. We've had our ups and downs or whatever. Like ups and downs, meaning I called him out publicly and got suspended for one game, but whatever. But it all goes back to him not getting a contract extension in the offseason, right? This is what happened with Trae Young. This is what happened with Jimmy Butler once upon a time. Like, always follow the money. And so it's like you moved hell and high water and you took care of Desmond Bane and you gave him a max contract. And then you moved off of guys and cleared the path so that you could make sure you gave Jaren Jackson Jr. a max contract. And you took care of Santi Aldama in the offseason. And I'm the one here and I didn't get taken care of. Now, my opinion would be you need to have some self-awareness, right? I don't think that even the most ardent Ja Morant or Grizzly fan thinks it would have been wise to give him a 3-year, $190 million extension, right? Nobody thinks that. But the problem is he thinks that, right? Like, he looks at it and goes, everybody else got taken care of. I didn't get taken care of. And you may know, like, in the offseason, he had Mike Miller, who was a former Grizzly, as his agent after he had left Jim Tanner after all of the Instagram stuff long ago. So he's had two like very significant agents and he cut ties with Miller in the offseason. And that was the end of that. And now he runs his own thing and his uncle is like basically his agent. And it's like, I don't know. And so like if you wonder, like, why did he come into the season the way he has, and he's always been unhappy, like, it feels like that could have been a real genesis, and there is no fixing that, right? Like, the only way he was ever going to get that contract is to earn it, and he had objectively not earned it.
Okay, Verno, there's a lot of things I need to follow up on here.
Go ahead.
Number one, I completely disagree that they will both regret this and that this is the wrong thing to do to trade Ja Morant. From a basketball, a business, and a vibes perspective, I just feel like we are inevitably headed there between the press conference and whatever that conversation was with Williams. Yes. So it is going to happen. Yes. It's going to happen for good reason. And it's the best thing for both Ja and the Grizzlies is for them to no longer be in business together playing basketball.
No, the best thing would have been for him to be playing available and awesome. I understand. Trust me. We know.
We are past that part.
We know.
So I disagree with you. I think the best thing is for them to get as much of a return they could possibly get and for them to split ways and to Memphis do a bit of a reset. They have their own draft pick this year, correct?
Correct. And they have Phoenix's.
Yeah, so perhaps.
Who is unbelievably good.
I mean, yeah, now Phoenix is going to be the 3 seed, so whatever. Yeah. But I think that is what's best for them. And as someone who is as close to the franchise as you could possibly be, both as a fan and as sort of like an employee of sorts, don't you also agree that it's just a matter of time until we get the news from Shams that he's been traded for 60 cents on the dollar, and that will be best for the Grizzlies because whatever's happening now is not helping the team win. And I want to finish this by asking you, did you see what aforementioned Desmond Bane had to say about Taylor Jenkins?
I did.
And how do you feel about Bane, who was on the team like 5 months ago?
Yeah.
6 months ago. What he said about Taylor Jenkins and what that means about the way the players on the franchise feel about Tuomas Isolo.
I think that Bane was always a Taylor guy, and I thought that team there's the one thing I always said about Taylor Jenkins, like he is a great people person. You know what I mean? And he is one of those that, you know, I've referenced many times that one of the most significant quotes that was ever told to me was the late, great Pat Summitt. And she said, they never care how much you know unless they know how much you care. And he lived by that, right? He was the guy that was like doing the team dinners and the kickball. Like a lot of these guys that came from Popovich and Budenholzer, and they all kind of have the same kind of MO, and they care deeply. Like when Jaren Jackson Jr. won his Defensive Player of the Year, Taylor Jenkins and his kids showed up at Jaren's house within 5 minutes. Like that's the kind, like it was family to him, not business to him, right? And so the idea that guys would miss Taylor Jenkins or love Taylor Jenkins is wildly unsurprising to me. And I think that Desmond Bane will always swear by him. You know, it's interesting because he's done that twice this year, and the first time Magic fans took it as a slight to Mosley. This time it's a slight to, I just think Desmond Bane loves Taylor Jenkins, right? I think that is, and I also think that he sees what's going on with Morant. And I also think that this is like field day for every former Grizzly. It's already happened this year. You know, when the things have gone bad, Marcus Smart has said his piece, Jake LaRavia, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, right? Like this is all like, you know, this is feast season. When things were good and now they're not good, then you can look at it and you can say, well, things are good when you had me, right? Things were good when you had the guy I liked. And so I don't know. I think that's more about Taylor and the impact he has on players. And
so before we move on, because we can't spend the entire episode talking about Ja Morant and the Grizzlies because no one cares. But
hey, no, you need to get on the internet. No one cares. Well, yeah, we're not talking. We're not talking about Jock Landau here. Okay, don't tell me nobody cares. I wish you could tell my cell phone nobody cares.
Two questions.
I would love I would love to have an auto response. Nobody cares. That would have been great for me for the last week.
When do you expect to see a deal done? And what, out of 100, what are the chances that he plays on the Grizzlies past the deadline?
Oh, past the deadline?
Yeah, past deadline. What are the chances out of 100? Zero, right?
No, I mean, 2.
Because there is a world in which they just don't get offered a deal which is acceptable, and they keep him on the roster through the rest of the season and try to move him.
No, and I think they're like one of those, like, they're so measured. I do not think this is my opinion. I do not think you're going to look up and you're going to go, oh my God, he got traded for that the same way you did CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. And I know that there is a general sentiment that that's his value now, but I'm telling you, they won't accept that that's his value now.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So it's not a 0% chance.
No.
I don't think there's a long line of teams that are looking to get into a bidding war for Ja Morant's services.
All you need is 2.
Okay.
You know what I mean? All you need is 2. And they'll have 2. So, but it's just a matter of if the deals stink, I would be shocked if they did it.
Do they not play him until he's moved for injury risks?
You know, that's a fascinating one because of the Adam Silver comments. Does Adam Silver say, come on, guys, like, we're in NBA. We're trying to get this European thing going. You just sat him out in Berlin. We're in London. There's no question. And he also made it very clear he was disappointed that he didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he plays, it's because Adam Silver had a say in it.
I mean,
that's what I'd guess.
We'll get to the basketball now. The fact that both Wagner brothers played for the Magic, I found noteworthy because Franz hasn't played in months. I bet Franz was ready like last week, and he decided to save it until the Berlin game.
Well, mom and dad were also in the crowd too,
and grandma.
A lot of camera time for Miss Wagner.
The Wagners, it was their day. It was Dirk and the Wagner's day.
Wait, we buried the lead. Anthony Black dunked on the entire Grizzly team in a 103-103 game with like less than 5 minutes to go. Anthony Black dunked on 4 of 5 Grizzlies got dunked on simultaneously. That is the season in a nutshell.
Yes, I think it was a microcosm. It's a microcosm of the Grizzlies season.
And then
80% of the players on the floor attempting to do something and failing.
And then everybody on the Magic took turns and then I think he called Santi Aldama a bitch, and as did Franz Wagner. I think everybody just called him a bitch. Like for 5 straight minutes, the Magic were just calling Santi Aldama a bitch. It was terrible. Terrible. Just a disaster in Berlin.
It really was. How do you say bitch in German?
I don't know.
We need to know. Yeah. In London, we won't have those problems. We'll be able to tell.
But I mean, look, the Magic put the screws to the Grizzlies down the stretch. The way that arena looked and the enthusiasm that was in that crowd, the crowd looked awesome. Like, I will say the NBA does well with this. Like, they can make something look like a big event. If you turned that on, it visually looked like a very big event that was going on. This NBA Europe game in Berlin. I know that there's a huge segment of our audience that probably wasn't able to see it as it was going on at 1:00 Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. But if you did tune it in, it was unbelievable. And it was prime time, obviously in Europe. But it looked great. The court looked awesome. The crowd was like lit. It was good.
Well, they stacked the deck. I did not know that De Silva was German.
Me neither.
I had no idea. I mean, I guess I just assumed he was like from Spain or something because De Silva is his last name.
Right.
But I didn't know he was German. He doesn't look particularly German. Like the Wagner brothers are named Wagner and they look German. It's like, okay, those guys are German. But if you they did a good job of sending this particular roster to Germany. And thank God Franz and Mo were both healthy because it gives the crowd something to root for. And when you have a close game, when the team that the home crowd is rooting for is down by 20, comes all the way back, and then takes the lead with an explosive dunk with 2 minutes left, it's kind of perfect if you're the NBA, especially if you're trying to get business in Europe.
Yep. And that Anthony Black dunk is forever.
Let me tell you something.
If you
I'm going to tease something for later. It's in my loathes.
Okay.
I'm going the other way on this Anthony Black tongue.
That's ridiculous because I will tell you, people in Germany are going to be talking about that dunk for the next. He is going to be the biggest deal in Germany for the next. I can't imagine the amount of Anthony Black jerseys that are sold today on NBA.com. I mean, people are going to be going there.
There are so many pun jokes I want to make right now, but I can't.
They're going to say,
trying to keep my job.
But for the for the next 3 decades, people are going to be saying they were in that arena for that dunk.
The Mismatch is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel's putting you in control right from tip-off. That's right. You get to choose your reward. You want to play it safe? Go for it. Feeling bold? That's your move. Whatever your style, you're in control. No matter how you play, FanDuel's giving you the power to choose your reward and own your game this NBA season. Head to FanDuel.com/mismatch to make your pick. Get in the game and play it your way. Remember, you must be 21 or over and present in select states, or 18 or over and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in is required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Move on to the next game before I get fired. I want to say so many things right now.
Please don't. Please don't. All right. Last night, settled in and watched OKC versus the Rockets. And look, we went through the span of, oh my goodness, are they going to be the 2016 Warriors, to, oh wow, there's actually a team that's even better than them, who owns them, to now, as things have settled down a little bit, I mean, you and I on Tuesday night watched them trash the Spurs.
It wasn't even a fun watch.
No, not fun to watch. And then they turned around last night and trashed the Rockets. And it's like, okay, this feels like a reestablishment has kind of gone on over the course of this past week. And am I out of bounds saying, boy, that Rockets last night, that looked like last year's Suns? That's what that felt like.
I like that.
Yeah, it did. You know what I mean? Obviously, KD's in a different uniform, but I mean, that was in the mud. Like, it was like, okay, we're going to make life hell on Şengün. We're going to make life hell on Durant. Go ahead.
Well, the game was close for the first half and part of the third quarter. The Thunder were leading throughout, but it was always 4 points, 6 points, 8 points. They were always within striking distance. And like you said, Şengün didn't look good. KD didn't look good. The only thing that kept the Rockets in this game is they had like 50 more possessions than the Thunder.
Correct.
Like, the Thunder still cannot rebound. And when you have a team as big as is focused on offensive rebounds as the Rockets, they're going to keep it close. But the Thunder defense looked like the Thunder defense that we were talking about through October and November. Like, they were just not giving up anything aside from offensive rebounds.
And you see the size of a lot of the guys that the Rockets bring in. And obviously they're a tenacious offensive rebounding team. And then, I mean, I don't know what is the difference of broad shoulders. Chet doing the shirtless interview with Amazon Prime last night. I mean,
I loved it.
It is not, that is not broad shouldered. Let's just say, I would wear a shirt.
I thought Chet played great. But one thing I loved about Chet, he said the team plane is waiting. Because, like, you've been around teams long enough to know that on the back-to-backs, sometimes they don't even shower. They're trying to get to the next city as soon as possible. So he had an excuse. He's obviously, he's in shape. And, it was above the nipples, the framing of the camera. I support the shirtless interview. I support it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Why not?
Look, and Haslam is trying to get him a Defensive Player of the Year award. Certainly made that clear last night. Let me ask you this. This is from Kelly Iko's article that came out this morning, okay? You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
A little over a month ago, the Rockets were second in the West with a 15-5 record. They have gone 8-10, are currently losers of 5 of their last 7, have a bottom 10 defense, and as of the new year, are 28th in offense. That they even sit in 6th place, 23-15, half a game outside of the play-in, is a miracle and testament to sheer individual talent on the roster. That is rough.
Yeah. They have been.
This is a team that you really liked for a large portion of the season.
Hell yeah.
Are you officially concerned or no?
Yeah.
Do you think this is a bad patch, or do you think that, like, whoa, this is alarming to have, since the start of the year, to have the 28th ranked offense and a bottom 10? It's alarming. It's alarming what's happened.
Yeah. Relatively healthy as well, outside of Van Vliet. I think it's easy to point to Van Vliet and sort of the lack of Reed Sheppard. You know, there's a few weeks where it seemed like Reed Sheppard had established himself as sort of like the guy that they need in that position, but he's not currently. And I think that this, unlike the Thunder sort of like swoon of 2.5 weeks, this seems much more significant. The team that hung their hat on defense, the team that had 2 sort of like unstoppable offensive engines, seems very vulnerable. And even that first game of the season that we saw them go to double overtime with the Thunder, do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That on opening night, it seemed like, oh, we have a real challenger to the Thunder. Last night did not seem like a challenge for the Thunder to dispatch the Rockets on their home floor.
I mean, when we started the season, I told you, I hate these teams that think they could just do point guard by committee. There is an organization that needs to take place with an offense. And I'm telling you, I watched them last night. I'm like, bro, it looks so much like last year's Suns. Where I'm like, okay, like you want to like start the offense with KD. You want to, like, instead of running them around curl screens and getting him the ball and like reversing the ball and all of the things that organized the team. It was like, that was one of the worst fourth quarter teams in the NBA last year, yet they had Kevin Durant and they had Devin Booker and they had Brad Beal and they had, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, this team was a mega disappointment. And you watch it last night and I'm like, geez, like those guys on Amazon were saying they should go get Chris Paul. And I don't disagree. I think Chris Paul would actually help.
We'll talk about Chris Paul later because I got a pin in him for our loves and lows. But since January 3rd, they lost to the Mavericks, beat the Suns in a close one. They lost to the Trailblazers.
That was the KD game. That was the KD game winner. We were watching that.
Yes,
game. Remember?
that Booker had a chance to tie.
That's right,
and almost did. And then they went back-to-back losses to the Blazers, and then lost to the Kings, beat the Bulls, lost to the Thunder, and now this evening on a back-to-back, they play the Timberwolves. Then they get the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Sixers, and the Pistons. And then they get to beat your Grizzlies. But this is, this isn't great right now.
Not great. Other things that weren't so great were the Lakers getting run out by the Hornets. The Hornets are one of these teams that we have talked about before. Like when they have had their 4 guys, like when they've had Knipple and they've had Miller and they've had Bridges and they've had Ball, like they can go out there and like obviously they have Colin Sexton coming off the bench. Like that was. They're certainly not in that Hornets team when they have health is not like they are much more like, say, Portland than they are like Utah or Washington or some of the teams that we are certain that are going to be in the lottery, right? Like there's a difference in possible lottery teams, and they are if you're not going to take them with the utmost seriousness, you might get run out by them because they have a lot of young talent. And obviously when it comes together and the ball's bopping around and they're all getting 15 to 25 points, it can look pretty great.
This is the Lakers get ahead early. They have a great first half. Luka's on fire. They're at home and just feels like, oh, we got this one in the bag. And then LaMelo had 3 points in the first half and 27 in the second half. Woo! And I stopped paying attention to this game. I was like, oh, okay, Laker win, whatever, put in my notes. And then I started looking at the NBA app. I was like, I think I got to turn this one back on.
I know.
Like LaMelo went off. And it just feels like, Luka's getting 30 points in losses time and time again.
When I saw a stat this morning, it was something like they've won like 60% of their games, but they have a negative point differential. Like they're doing like historically weird. They're having a historically weird season, are the Lakers, where it's like a negative point differential, but their record does not indicate they are a team with a negative point differential.
No, at all. And it doesn't. This team, I think, is just going to keep sliding. They're just going to keep sliding along in the standings because their defense is just, there's nothing there. There's no one to stay in front of LaMelo Ball. There's no one to even slow him from doing whatever he wants in the second half.
All right, where are we at on the Knicks? It was Brunson less. So do we look at it and go, that's a game without Brunson? Or do you look at it and go, bro, why are you giving up 30-something points to Jimmy Butler and getting run out by Golden State?
I mean, I expected more after losing to the Kings. I thought after the Kings loss, this was going to be one of those like, all right, we have a couple days, we're on the road, we're going to have some talks, we're going to really bring it against the Warriors team, which is, I would say, vulnerable. They're a good team, but they're vulnerable. And this is not new, but it can be very frustrating to root for a team that has Karl-Anthony Towns. Ooh. It can be very frustrating. He had some fouls. He had this one foul. I think it was his second foul. And I think it was the first quarter where he just kind of got tangled up off the ball with Melton. And it was just like, it was weird. Their arms got tangled up. And it was to the point where the refs had to make a call because they're tangled up. And obviously the call's going to go against Towns. And it's off the ball. It's in the backcourt. It's just like, he gets so many calls that have nothing to do with defending the ball. And he gets another call where he just like hip thrust Draymond Green as he's driving for no reason, which you have to call if you're the ref. It was just like, it's so frustrating to watch. And the Knicks historically play pretty well without Brunson. It's sort of like the Grizzlies without Ja. It's like, for whatever reason, the role players step up. It seems like they're more free on offense. They get more opportunities. And I thought Deuce, who started for Brunson, looked amazing. Like, forget Tyler Kolek. Like, Deuce McBride is awesome.
Did your opinion of the Warriors change at all?
If they can get this from Moses Moody, like, that guy didn't miss threes. He had 7. I don't know what. It's like 7 for 9, 7 for 10 or something. Like, he was just knocking everything down. If they're role players, because Moody, Pajemski looked awesome last night. Like, I think this is more of the Warriors. I thought the Knicks didn't play well, obviously, especially Karl-Anthony Towns. But, like, this is the blueprint if you are the Warriors.
Do you think they could get anything for Kuminga?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Just a young, athletic wing player, and that there's always going to be teams that were willing to take a chance on that, especially at a non-punitive contract.
If you're a front office and you're looking at guys that could potentially be available, there are obvious reasons to not dedicate the time of the resources and roster spot and salary to bring on an Anthony Davis or a Ja Morant because of the health questions, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're having a meeting about potentially bringing in Kuminga, it wouldn't take you very long to convince yourself that he has been done wrong by this franchise and he is not given the opportunity to succeed that we would give him here. And you could cherry pick stats to make him seem like an all-star who's just who's been suffocated by a coach that didn't want him in the first place. You see the thing this week about, Steve Kerr actually wanted Franz Wagner. Do you see that?
Yeah.
That's so easy to say after the fact. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, he actually never wanted James Wiseman either. It's like, okay, like after the fact, it's very easy to be right about drafts.
Well, I will say that he is a story of when, and I talked about this a couple of weeks or in the offseason when we were talking about the Kuminga thing. Like, he's always been a Lake-up guy. I will never forget how bizarre that press conference was when he got drafted and they asked him about his meetings with Steve Kerr, and he said, I've never met Steve Kerr. And I thought that was the weirdest thing ever, but he had gone out to dinner with Joe Lacob. Like, that's just odd. So I do kind of buy that Steve Kerr never wanted him and the owner just drafted him. And you know what I mean? Like he never even met him. It was strange. People could go find it. That happened. It was weird when it happened. And never underestimate a coach's resent.
Oh yeah.
Years ago, there was a guy I was covering I was covering a game, and Dave Yeager was the head coach at Memphis, and he wanted, I mean, everybody knew he wanted Rodney Hood. That's who he wanted. He wanted Rodney Hood, and they didn't take Rodney Hood in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And Rodney Hood was playing for, I believe, Utah at the time. And Rodney Hood came in and just lit it up. And this dude went to his press conference and spent 5 minutes talking about how awesome Rodney Hood is. And it was like, he's still mad. He's always going to be mad. Right? He's always going to. We were like, come on, dude. Let it go. Like, I think they took Jordan Adams that year, who ended up having a very short career. But he was like once Rodney Hood came in and like scored a bunch of points, it was like, this is the salvo. He used the press conference, and I think it probably got off on the wrong foot immediately for Kuminga with Steve Kerr, and here we are, these years later, and it never.
But it was so weird last year. He was getting DNPs during the Rockets series, and then Steph gets hurt in game 1 of the Minnesota series, and then game 2. I just looked it up. Kuminga was like 8 for 11 from the field,
right,
and had 18 points.
Well, and then had some pretty good games when Curry went out of the Minnesota series.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like this game 2. Curry went out game 1 against Minnesota. Game 2, he was 8 for 11 from the field for 18 points. And if you look at this team, this old, unathletic, slow team, it's like what they need is Jonathan Kuminga. Like, I've talked too much about Kuminga, but he's gone.
Yep.
And
Pistons beat the Suns. Pistons just keep on rolling. I mean, we're going to look up. We are now like to the midway point of the year. And I mean, good grief. What if I would have told you that we would be at the midway point almost exactly of the NBA season? In fact, they have played 39 games. I guess 41 would be the exact midway point. But that the Pistons, we're sitting there and they're 29-10. 29-10 through the first 39 games of the season. Like, they have gone from hey, they played the Knicks tough in the playoffs, and this year, probably won't be a top 4 seed, but they're certainly going to be a consistent playoff team going forward, to what is going on? This team is not slowing down, right? Like the same way Houston has slowed down, and like there's been some kind of correction to what they truly are. You keep waiting for some kind of correction to what they might truly be, and no correction has come. They have just consistently been able to turn out win after win after win and maintain this level of focus that is mega impressive and has got them at the top of the Eastern Conference.
I think what was significant about last night's win, I mean, obviously if you didn't see it, the Suns are playing without Booker.
Right.
So, it's a completely different thing when you don't have Devin Booker in a one-star system. But what I thought was significant about this win for the Pistons against a good Suns team was Cade was pretty bad, dude. Like, Cade was not himself. This was a close game towards the end, and Cade is like one of my favorite clutch performers. It just seems like in any sort of clutch situations, it seems like he is absolutely money. And he missed a couple pretty easy shots for him down the stretch in this one. And, I think for them to get a win against a good Suns team when their guy, their all-star, their main guy, has one of his worst games of the season was encouraging if you're a Pistons fan.
Other ones that are worth mentioning, the Celtics beat the Heat. So they that's certainly one of their peers, and they were able to get back on track and get a win. Spurs, you got scared with the Wemby knee to knee. The shaven head Wemby, him and Keldon Johnson, I guess, cut each other's hair. I saw this media availability where they were where Keldon Johnson talked about how they decided to go bald together and that Wemby is evidently amazing at shaving people's heads. Yeah, Keldon Johnson said that. Yeah. Like, what is he? What can this guy not do?
Oh, great head shaver now. I'm starting to really not like this guy. I don't even know why. It just seems like everything about him rubs me the wrong way now.
You had the Mavs beat the Jazz. Klay Thompson moved to 4th.
He did. Klay looked good.
Well, no Cooper Flag, and Klay moved to 4th all time on the three-pointers list. In fact, he is now behind Steph Curry, James Harden, and Ray Allen, and he passed Damian Lillard for 4th all time on three-pointers made. Now, the reason that this is interesting is because he moved into 4th with 2,805, which is just an extreme number, obviously, one ahead of Damian Lillard, who is not playing this year, and is behind Ray Allen and is about 170 behind Ray Allen. What is shocking is James Harden has like 3,200 in second. Steph Curry, they said Klay Thompson had moved into 4th and with 2,805 three-pointers, moved one ahead of Damian Lillard. And then, of course, the list gets posted. Bro, Steph Curry has 4,200 threes. What?
I mean,
I couldn't even do the math. How many threes you would have to make for
1,500. 1,500.
This is going to be like friggin' Cy Young's 511 wins.
I mean,
like 4,200. He is 1,000 ahead, almost 1,000 ahead of James Harden, who is number 2.
I just can't. It's hard for me to imagine a scenario in which someone passes Steph Curry because of the way the Warriors offense works and all of the off-ball work that Steph does to get open, because everyone knows that he is the greatest three-point shooter that ever lived. So they'd run him off the three-point line, which is why he has to spend so much time and energy cutting to the baseline, cutting back, running in circles around to finally get an open off-balance three that he nails every single time. Like, I don't know what it looks like to pass him.
Okay, quick math. So let's just say there's 82 games. And let's just say you played all 82, which no one will ever do again, it doesn't seem like.
Yep.
But let's say you played all 82 and you did it for 10 years, okay? And you hit 5 a game.
It's 400 a season.
Okay.
400 a season.
Okay, you still wouldn't be the number 1 three-point shooter of all time. In fact, you would still be shy of Steph Curry's mark. If you
hit 400 a season for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I mean,
and in order to do that, you would have to hit 5 a game for 80 games.
But after you hit 5 a game, your first 3 years in the league, guess what? You're on top of the whiteboard saying, run this guy off the three-point line, which is back to my point of like, I don't even know what it looks like to hit more than Steph because of all the work and effort that Steph puts in to get what he's gotten thus far.
Unbelievable. You know, it's crazy because this is one of those where a record gets broken, and this always happens. So a record gets broken or a guy moves up on a list, and then you see the list, and what you're in awe of is not the record that just got surpassed. You're like, oh my God, he's got 4,200.
It's stupid. Well, this is another thing that happened last night I want to talk to you about.
Please.
And I am generally a hater and a negative person.
Okay.
So this like 20-point game streak thing that SGA has going, he had like 14, and then he's playing in the fourth quarter. And it felt a little bit like everyone knew he had 14 and they got him to 20 and then took him out of the game.
Oh, you got to keep that streak going. Come on.
It just felt like it was a concerted effort to keep that streak going. Because as a Knicks fan, I watched Miles Bridges' ass. Like it was a jump ball, and he like in like the first whistle, he's out the game for the rest of the game. That's not playing, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
That was like when Draymond. Remember when Klay came back from the injury, and Draymond came because he wanted to be on the floor when Klay came back, and then checked out of the game after the jump ball. Like,
right.
I don't know, man. Sometimes we're engineering these streaks to stay alive.
Oh, I mean, look, we just spent 20 years doing it with the LeBron streak. It would happen, a couple times a year, right? Like, I mean, he's going to get his 10.
It felt like they worked to get SGA his 20 yesterday.
Yeah, you're
That's
hating.
all I got to say.
You're hating.
Yeah, I'm hating.
Of course they were going to keep that streak going. Also, let's just mention this one real quick before we get into our loves and lows of the week. You better watch out for the Blazers. You know that was my sneaky team before the season. They're cracking, and they didn't have Denny Avdia last night.
No,
and they put it. And they
Shaden Sharp though.
They put it on the Hawks, and they've got Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday's been back for a couple of games. He's not playing big minutes yet, but I mean, I kept telling you, like, they're kind of holding the fort down without a point guard. And now that they hadn't had Drew and they haven't had Scoot for the majority of the season, and they got good players, man. And Denny didn't play last night, who's going to be an all-star, and Klingen's like a totally reliable double-double. And it's like that team is like, go look at the standings. Like they made that big push in the second half of last year. It won't shock me at all if you see them consistently moving up the standings. That's one to certainly keep an eye on, is this Portland team, because they, much like the Suns, like they put out more often than not, they give you an honest effort and they will defend you. And and then they've got some offensive players that can win one-on-one matchups on a pretty regular basis. Yes,
dude, Denny and Sharp are all the offense you need. I love Toumani Camara and Klingen. I mean, Klingen will rim protect, and Camara will cover your best wing player.
Yep.
And Drew is a diminished defender, I'll say, to be nice, but he can still stay in front of somebody.
He can still organize a team too.
Yeah, and he can organize a team and play the point guard role, especially if you got a bunch of young scorers and sort of like people finding where they fit in the league and what their spots are and what they're best at, and he'll get you there. I love this team too. It's gonna be really awkward when Chauncey Billups tries to get his job back in a couple months.
Well, look, when these teams, Chauncey Billups, you said you were going to leave your kids to.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Shout out to whoever found that clip.
But
Uncle Chauncey.
There's a lot of teams that are slowing down as we get, to this midway point of the season. They're ramping up.
Yes, so they're going the opposite way the Rockets are going.
Yes, keep an eye on them because they look like they're going the right way instead of the wrong way. All right,
I just wish the Knicks were. Jesus
loves
Christ.
and lows from the week. Well, look, the Knicks, you can blame the NBA Cup, which I was upset.
I'm so tired of blaming the NBA Cup for this shit.
It's the NBA Cup's fault. It's a championship hangover. This happens to champions.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's the disease of me, right? So Pat Riley called it.
Yep. All right, loves of the week. All right, I'm going to start with the Clippers. So the Red Hot Clippers deserve to be in the loves. They are currently half a game behind the Grizzlies for 10th place. That may have changed by the time we're recording with the Grizzlies losing yesterday. Harden and Kawhi Leonard, who are obviously hoping to be part of All-Star Weekend when it comes up, are making a run at this thing. They're on an 11-2 run.
I know.
Kawhi Leonard is averaging 33, 7, and 2.5 steals a game. Harden is averaging 25 and 8 assists. Quote, "We talk probably more than anybody," Harden said of Leonard. "Once I see him flip the switch, it was like, okay, yeah, it's go time. That's the Kawhi we need. My job is just facilitate, get him going, get us going. So it's been a complete 180. And it's like, whoa. Like this team that now has gone 11-2. We said they had the hardest schedule. It was going to lighten up. Stick a pin in this. Like, if they start playing better and the schedule starts getting lighter, this is a team that could obviously change their fortunes this year. But I don't think anybody saw this Kawhi Leonard best. How many people would have guessed that Kawhi Leonard's best season ever was ahead of him? You know what I mean?
Well,
no.
He's had a good run here, Verno, but we're not going to call this his best season ever. All right.
No, go look. He is having his best season ever. He is.
Verno, he didn't play for 2 months. And he is playing well right now, but we'll wait until the spring is out and you're wearing shorts before we start calling this his best season ever.
I'm telling you, right through the first half of the season,
fair.
He is having a career year. And that is not something anybody would have anticipated.
Well, I also think you say the schedule will get easier, whatever, but
after Pablo Torre's act.
Well, did you see the latest from Pablo?
What did he do now? What
well, he's always got Pablo's always got like a couple little bullets in the chamber that he'll just like sprinkle out. He's Ivy dripping this whole like ascension thing.
Oh, no, as we get closer
to, aspiration, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The latest was that, Uncle Dennis said he wanted a home, right? So you've been to what is formerly called the Staples Center, currently called Crypto, which is where the Clippers played at the time. And I worked right there when I was at Grantland, and ESPN has a studio right there. So I spent a ton of time in that little plaza called LA Live. And in that plaza called LA Live, there's some hotels that they would put us at, which are kind of across the street and not that nice. And then the famous people that would come to town, they stay at the JW Marriott, which also, if you're really famous, you stay at the Ritz. And attached to the Ritz is a residences. So there was a sale of an apartment on November 5th of a year to an LLC that was created in Florida on November 4th by Uncle Dennis. And the sale was from someone somehow, some way associated with Bomber and the Clippers and whatnot. So the whole demand of private plane available whenever I want, guaranteed endorsement money, and a home, which seemed insane at the time. It seems like the guaranteed endorsement money could have happened, and it seems like the home could have happened as well. Because this is a fancy, expensive apartment in the same complex where the Clippers play, which would be very convenient if you are in Kawhi Leonard's family to have.
What scale of 1 to 10, how much credit should Pablo Torre get for Kawhi Leonard's career year? Does this happen without that reporting?
Ooh, I like this question. Scale of 1 to 10. Let's go percentage, like a pie slice. I'll do that. It's a little bit better. I'm going to say 20%. Pablo.
20%. That the FU Kawhi year.
Yeah, is at least 20%. Pablo.
I think I go higher.
You think so?
Yeah. If that reporting never happens, he's probably like averaging 23 points a game and has played half the games.
Counterpoint.
Okay.
If you go up to Kawhi Leonard right now, you're sitting next to him on a plane, and you're like, "Do you know who Pablo Torre is?" There's a part of me that thinks and be like, "No idea who that man is. I don't even know what you're talking about."
Tell me you saw the interview, the awkward interview with the playoff Kawhi.
Oh yeah, of course.
They asked him about playoff Kawhi, and he's like, "I don't know what that is.
I don't know what you're talking about."
And he's like, "That's just something like media comes up with names for stuff, and I don't even know what that means." And they're like, "Yeah, it was actually your coaches. Your coaches said playoff Kawhi, whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I don't know what that is. I just play basketball." It's like, okay, you're impossible. Right. You're impossible.
Yeah.
You're
all
impossible.
Right, move on. Weirdo. I love the Clippers, man.
Right.
They were never as bad as they were. Like, I think that there was really bad things going on behind the scenes with the whole Chris Paul thing and all of that. Just seems like
bad vibes.
Right. So where am I at? I'm at my loves.
Yeah, first
here's one thing I love. My first one. Like, I find Kawhi to be kind of boring because I like a LaMelo Ball type of basketball player, like a showman, someone who's a little crazy, trying to make things look cool, and is a little like sort of unhinged behind a microphone during a press conference, right? That's LaMelo Ball.
Yes.
Kawhi Leonard is the polar opposite of that.
Correct.
And SGA, former Clipper himself, has sort of like, he's very sort of the same, mature, above his age.
Yes.
Measured, Canadian, kind, nice. Yep. One of my loves from the last week. SGA's getting a little spicy.
Oh.
SGA's getting at least sticking his chest out a little bit. And I think that them losing a bunch of games, almost losing to your terrible Grizzlies. And I think that all of the sort of noise about the Thunder being vulnerable and the Spurs having their number, and because I know you saw during that Spurs game when he hit a shot on Stephen Castle, he was chirping and cursing all the way back when he was pedaling back on defense. And I haven't seen that from SGA, and I loved it. And after the game, what did he say? This is not our Super Bowl. And then I'm watching the game last evening, and he's at the foul line. And Kevin Durant just likes to chat. Kevin Durant doesn't run from any smoke. He likes to chat. And at some point, the camera catches SGA on the foul line, where he often is, look right at Kevin Durant and say, enjoy that 7 seed to KD. So we got
tough. It's tough.
Talking to Castle on the way back, talking greasy, like aggressively. This is not our Super Bowl in the press conference, and telling Kevin Durant, future Hall of Famer, top 10 player of all time, whatever, argue, who cares, top 15. Enjoy that 7 seed. I love this week.
This is
spicy SGA.
The evolution of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander you'd love.
Yes.
Yes.
I like him. Just show me a little aggressiveness. Show me a little competitiveness. Show me a little emotion. I like it.
Enjoy the 7 seed is tough.
I like it. I think they're in the 6 seed right now, too. They might have moved down to 7 after that loss last night.
My first loathe, the absurd AD stories. So it was last week we were on this show, and you and I had both watched the end of the Mavs and Utah. Yep. And I said, hey, Jacoby, it's time for tinfoil Verno. And I said I was watching that game, and we had just spent the entire day reading stories leak out about how Anthony Davis did not want to be traded, and his intention was to wants to sign long-term with Dallas, right? And that was the stories all day. And then we're watching the game, and we're like, wait, what happened? And he starts grabbing his finger, and he goes out, and I said, boy, tinfoil Verno immediately texted you and said, man, he really doesn't want to get traded. And then it comes out. I'm going to read this to you. Okay.
Okay.
So Shams Charania puts out, Dallas Mavericks Anthony Davis is likely to undergo surgery to repair his left hand and miss several months. His Dallas season is essentially over, given the prognosis and the Mavs' direction.
Seems pretty clear. Cut and dry, right?
Then it was, update, Dallas's Anthony Davis will not require surgery on his injured hand.
And that's from Shams.
After a second opinion. And basically, look at him in 6 weeks, but opens the trade market back up. Maybe, hey, it's like, okay, bro. Do you think I'm crazy? This fed into exactly my conspiratorial thought at the very beginning, right? Mm-hmm. Where it was like, oh, okay, you ain't trading me, homeboy. I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? And then it's like this realization that hey, man, they are probably going to trade your ass. And now you're not going to get your extension there. And so you might be better off. Somebody talked to him and said, hey, you might be better off if you get traded somewhere else that is going to want to give you an extension. And so the fingers, it ain't that bad. It's not that bad. It's no. I'm saying because they told me it wasn't that bad. And
who told you that?
That's what
told
it
you
says.
He needed surgery.
No. He's reevaluated in 6 weeks now. He doesn't need surgery.
Well,
and so that's what I'm saying. No. He went from his season is over, he needs surgery, and very specifically, he's out till after the trade deadline and is going to need surgery, and his season is in jeopardy.
But also, Shams said his Dallas season is over.
Yes.
Which is that Dallas is that noun is working really hard. It didn't say his 2025, 2026 season is over. His Dallas season is over.
And then it went to 6 weeks. Well, just do the math. That ain't that far after the trade deadline.
Not only that, after Shams reported this, Anthony Davis himself takes to the internet and says, quote, y'all better stop listening to all these lies on these apps, ! And then there's another report of him missing several months, and Anthony Davis responds to that, lies, ! So why would Anthony Davis be so motivated to prove that he's ready to play basketball soon?
What? And there is a 1 in 1 billion chance Shams got a clutch story wrong.
Just Shams.
What are you talking about?
Like how do I say this nicely? Shams is not in front of his keyboard making things up. You know what I mean? Like he's not. It's not. I mean, listen. I don't know him that well personally, but like I trust that Shams, when he reports something, got it from a source. So
Yes.
Who is motivated to say that Anthony Davis needs surgery?
Right.
Who?
Right.
Who's motivated to say that's a lie?
Right.
Anthony Davis.
Right.
And his agent.
Well, no, I think
who was a colleague of ours.
I think it
at the Ringer.
I think it changed. I think the circumstances changed. It was, I don't want to get traded. I want to be here. And then you realize, like, bro, it doesn't matter. Like, you're not even with an injury, they still might move you. And they're not going to give you
they're not going to give you a max extension.
They're not going to give you an extension. Like, you're getting that extension and that's been leaked.
Well, they might offer an extension.
For sure not.
They might. No, an extension.
Oh.
It's just not going to be anything close to Anthony Davis wants.
Right.
Or what his market price is.
And so then you've got to recalibrate, and all of a sudden the finger's not that bad after all. I don't even think I'm tinfoil anymore. The whole thing, like the succession of reporting was ridiculous.
It was
ridiculous.
Sloppy. It's sloppy, and it shows that that Anthony Davis and the Mavericks are not on the same page. And when
Correct.
that's the case, it generally leads to Anthony Davis and the Mavericks no longer.
And there'll be somebody out there who's like, no. He actually saw another doctor, and the doctor, like, okay, then who was the first doctor that said, no, man, this needs surgery? Like, come on, shut up. Seriously, this is goofy. I'm too smart for you.
I'm too smart for you, says Chris Vernon.
I'm the one with the brains.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
All right.
First loathe.
I mean, this is going to be my loathes just kind of in perpetuity. This just pisses me off so much.
Oh, no.
We have an update on the Insights to Excellence project that NBC is using with their special correspondent, Michael Jordan. And here's the update. Mike Tirico, who sat down with Michael Jordan for about an hour, the special correspondent for NBC, and they chopped that up and gave us some cliched tropey topics about load management and the three-point shot ruining the game and whatever else. And he gave his cliched answers that every guy in their 40s and 50s gives when they played in the NBA. And it was worthless. No insights to any excellence. Well, guess what? Now we have an update. This is what they announced on May 12th of 2025. Quote, we're thrilled to welcome Michael Jordan as a special contributor to the NBA on NBC and Peacock. God damn it, I was excited during May of 2025.
Me too.
Until we all know what happened then. And here's the latest from Mike Tirico, and I quote, was it when everyone wanted? Probably not. Was it better than not hearing from Michael Jordan? You're damn right it was. And if we get another shot at it, will I be more than excited to be part of it? You betcha. So now we don't even know if we're getting a second interview with special contributor to NBA on NBC. We're going to, we didn't cover any ground in the first Insights to Excellence. And now it's up in the air whether or not it happens again. And he's probably getting paid still by NBC to do nothing. This Michael Jordan thing has been fumbled so heavily by NBC, and no one's talking about it because everyone doesn't want to talk bad about Michael Jordan, and everyone's so scared to criticize Michael Jordan. But this sucks. And he's going to do one more interview like before the playoffs about the round one matchups, and maybe one more before the finals. And we'll get no insights to excellence. We'll get no.
I know this is your pet thing, Jordan. But I'm stopping you.
We're just going to get canned, taped bullshit from Michael Jordan. I'm out.
All right, look, I know this is your pet thing, but I'm stopping you here because look. If you tell me, here's the test, Jacoby. Here's the test. If you tell me after this break, we're going to hear from Michael Jordan, I'm on Team Tirico here. I will sit there and watch it, and I will tune in. I may not like it. I may not think it's of great value. But if the goal is to get me to watch, I am much more likely to watch if you tell me coming up next, Michael Jordan. And so I am on Team Tirico. It's better to not than not hearing from him.
No.
Yes, it is.
You know what it reminds me of? The Barnum and Bailey Circus, P.T. Barnum, one of the famous things he did is that they have all these tents that you would walk through. At the end of each tent, there's this huge sign that says the Great Egress, and it had an arrow. So you go to the next tent. At the end of the next tent, it says the Great Egress. So you're always getting teased of this great egress that is coming. Do you know what egress means in the English language? Exit.
Oh.
So we're going to get teased. Coming up after this, we're going to get insights to excellence from Michael Jordan. And then you just never get it. We're getting played like P.T. Barnum used to play people that he invited to his circus
agree.
tents.
It is not what any of us wanted it to be. I also agree it's better than not hearing from him at all, because at least you can hate watch it.
Well, I look forward to it.
You know what I mean? I mean, you get to mention it and how much you hate it. So
can we just on one big NBC day, can we get this guy in the studio to sit there for 5 hours? Like, it's not that hard work.
I agree. Next one. My next love, the NBA Europe thing. So I thought it was super cool. The Berlin game yesterday. Obviously, I was watching the entire thing. The people that were texting me that were in the arena were like, this is unbelievable. He's like, you have no idea the amount of enthusiasm there is. It feels like a huge event. Like being in the arena felt like you were at a huge event. On TV, I thought it came off like it was a huge event. And I thought that they put on they put on a really good show. They're obviously doing one on Sunday in London.
Yep.
Between the two. But beyond that, you know, they used the podium. Silver uses the podium to talk about these plans for NBA Europe and FIBA and, you know, putting together a league there and the NBA having involvement, whatever else. And I will just tell you that first in my career, when first it was Pau Gasol and he came to Memphis, I realized at that point, very early in the internet age, what level of interest there was from around the globe for, you know, for NBA basketball. And that has continued. And then throughout the years of doing this show, there have been times where like we'll do mailbags during the summer or something like that. And I mean, I've heard from like 25 countries. Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is such a global phenomenon. And like part of the reason that this podcast has been successful is because of people all around the world. So the idea that like there would be an NBA sanctioned league overseas that would be on TV and you've got all these fans. I don't think we can undersell how many fans there are globally. You watched that yesterday. That's in Berlin. That's in Berlin, Germany yesterday. And that place is slammed. And they are lined up outside to try to get in, whatever. You're going to see it again in London, you know, coming up over the weekend. And so I like that there will be a connection to European basketball that like then has the NBA's involvement, which also then has like broadcast rights. And like I'm excited to see where that can go. And I think I feel much differently about it than maybe I would have years ago, simply because I know how many people care so deeply and rework their schedules around the globe to watch NBA games. And then you watch something like that yesterday and you see what a big deal that is for that game. Like, I love the idea of the NBA having like a part of FIBA in Europe and that there being another league that's going on over there. And I'm excited about it. I actually think that's super, super fun.
I'm curious about the details because they haven't given us very much details. They just tell us like they're interested in starting a league with FIBA in Europe.
Yes.
Now, we're of an age where we remember the NFL did this. And what they did is they started a new league with existing cities, and it did not work.
No.
Right? But what they're proposing, and they haven't announced this, which I think will work, is sort of like a soccer club model or football club model, right, where it's like these are existing teams, some of the major sort of players in European basketball, like Olympiacos and whatever, like the Madrid team and the Barcelona team and the Berlin team and Munich team and blah blah blah. So if it is like sort of of 12. One of the models they propose is sort of like having a 12 permanent teams, like the 12 most prominent, popular existing clubs.
Yes.
And then 4 sort of like you can qualify in every year clubs
Yes.
in a 16-team league that is in addition to what is already occurring in Eurobasket, in EuroLeague. That sounds interesting to me. Now, can NBA players play? Probably not. What
No, we don't know.
What
we don't know.
season does this happen in?
Also,
is this a tournament or is this a league with a regular season and then playoffs?
Where does it stand within the G League universe? Like, there's a lot of things that you wonder. On the other hand, I think getting a connection to the European basketball and also that being NBA sanctioned is super cool. I
think so too.
I think it'll work in a way that it didn't with football.
I think so too. Because I think that football tried to create a new league. But I think what the NBA is doing is partnering with existing commodities and sort of elevating them and organizing them and presenting them to a basketball-hungry American audience during the summer is what I imagine what this is.
Yep.
That's what I imagine this is. And they'll figure it out. They're smarter than I am. What are we on, loathes?
No, your next love.
My next love. Oh, I love this. The Celtics are at the end of a comeback against the Heat. There's 13.7 seconds left. Jayson Tatum is in street clothes. He doesn't know, but the camera finds him. And he's talking to someone off camera. And he says 2 words that are very easily lip read. And he clearly looks at someone off camera at the end of a close game in a comeback with 13.7 seconds left. And he looks at someone off camera and he says, "I'm ready." And this is like Dame Lillard out for the season. Tyrese Halliburton out for the season. But for whatever reason, it really feels like Jayson Tatum is coming back to a team that without him has been very successful in a conference which does not have a dominant team, which, the Pistons fans can argue with me about that, but that doesn't seem like I'm not penciling them into the finals right now. And I love the idea that this Celtics team, this Cinderella overachieving, like little engine that could add an MVP candidate and have a couple months for him to ramp up before we even see him in the playoffs. It's awesome.
What if he was talking about dinner?
That would be disappointing.
Okay.
I do not believe he was talking about dinner.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of like, we're ahead. This game is over. Why are you calling timeouts with 13.7 seconds left? I'm ready to go to dinner.
The reason I joke about that is because please tell me you saw that goofy ass report yesterday. A source close to Morant said the kerfuffle with Vince Williams was about finding a place to eat.
Okay, because I actually thought it was when I first saw the lip sync thing.
For sure not.
I don't know what they're talking about. When Williams says, "Let's go to the back," does he mean to fight or to talk out of the way of all these prying eyes?
When Ja did the crotch grab, that's like, oh my God, they're about to square up.
But when Ja's like, "I've been here for 5 minutes," what does he mean?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that exchange.
He's saying, talk to me.
Yeah, it's like, don't walk away is what he's trying to say, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't know what the hell was going on there, but it's definitely about dinner plans.
All right, next to loathe. Giannis and the booing. That was just sad to watch it all play out the way it is. I mean, you got the Milwaukee fans. I mean, they're getting their ass kicked by Minnesota, and they all start booing, during this game. And Giannis starts booing back, and he's holding down the thumbs down. And then he says at the end of the game, "It doesn't matter," said about being at home. "I play basketball for my teammates. I play basketball for myself and my family. When people don't believe in me, I don't tend to be with them. I tend to do what I'm here to do, what I'm good at. It won't change home or away. But yeah, I've never been a part of something like that before, and I don't think it's fair. I don't. But everybody has their opinion to do whatever they want. I'm not going to tell them what to do or how they should act when we don't play hard or when we lose games or when we're not what we're supposed to be. I don't think anybody has the right to tell me how I should act. on the basketball court. I've been here for 13 years, and I'm basically the all-time leader in everything. I'm basically, Giannis, you get big credit for that one. I'm basically the all-time leader in everything. So you can't tell me how to act. It's just also depressing when it gets to the point of, the home crowd booing and Giannis booing back. And it's like, what are we doing here? This sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks.
It's just everything about it sucks.
It sucks.
It's hard to defend the fans. It's hard to defend Giannis. Nobody ends up looking good in this exchange. No. And then Doc comes out and is like, yeah, it looks like tired legs after that game. And Giannis is like, that's not an excuse. So he's kind of like going against the coach, going against the fans. Like he's just gonna get traded. This is the last time that he plays for the Bucks. And every time I see like, oh, the Bucks might try to add Ja Morant or whatever, what are we doing? Like, you've already stretched out Dame Lillard. Like, you're gonna do another all-in trade to make a run for a championship with this roster? Are you kidding me?
That's also the interesting thing regarding Morant. Possibly, his desired outcome would be Miami. If you're Miami, you got to be careful about that because that's who you want to take a run at, right? I'm saying Giannis.
Oh, Giannis?
Yeah, you don't want to move off of, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to need contracts and you're going to need stuff to be able to make that happen if it's a possibility. If I'm Pat Riley, that's the guy I want to go get.
I would never jeopardize a potential Giannis.
That's what I'm saying.
Ja
so
Morant.
you got to calibrate that in all of it.
I'll tell you what. I'm starting to change my opinion about Giannis to the Knicks.
Oh,
starting to change my opinion about Giannis to the Knicks.
Sounds like somebody's watched Towns too many times.
Yeah. After all that, I'm starting to change my opinion.
After all that,
starting to change my opinion.
All right, your next load.
This one's quick. I don't know if you saw this, but Kevin Hart and Kenan Thompson did an interview with Chris Paul, and they're like, "Hey, man, like, what's going on with your career or whatever?" And he's just like, "This is what he said." Oh man, quote: "I'm working out and training every day, right? In all honesty, with the way all that stuff went down and all that, I think for me,
and
I just love this game so much that I don't want it to end like that. I think Chris Paul deserves a better sunset to his career than whatever that was with the Clippers.
He'll get one.
And there are tons and tons of unceremonious exit from the National Basketball Association that we forget, right? I mean, like
sure.
We all know the guys and the teams, the Sean Kemps and Pat Ewings and all of that. But like, I just want Chris to play a game on the last day of the season and get a standing ovation and cry and be given the microphone and just have that happen. I don't care what city it's in or what uniform he is wearing, but I don't want it to end like this.
Well, and the crazy thing is you would think of him as a Clipper, right? That's what he was, the leader of the Lob City.
I don't think that's an option anymore.
But it's all going to be weird no matter what.
Whenever they put together fake trades for the Clippers, like, and Chris Paul's contract, I'm like, is that still a thing? You're allowed to do that?
Because it felt like, all right, I'm signing back with the home team for one last year.
Yes.
It would be like if Mike Conley came back to Memphis at the end, if Kyle Lowry went back to Toronto at the end,
it seemed right.
Yeah. One last round.
And at the time, they seemed like a championship contender.
And the thing just went to hell. Yeah. All right. All right. My last love. Oh, and you're going to love this as a guy who helped get this show off the ground. The Rich Paul controversy. God, I love it.
I love it so much.
I love it. Game Over, the pod that he and Max Kellerman do. You've got him throwing a wrench into the Austin Reeves, Jaren Jackson Jr. salvo that he throws out, talking about how that they should trade Austin Reeves. LeBron then having to come out and saying, Rich doesn't speak for me. I love Austin. Bill Simmons in his last podcast answering a mailbag question of whether he put together that show as a Celtics fan to mess up the Lakers.
Perfect.
Everything about it.
No. And
so
Austin
awesome.
Reeves' agent, like, quote unquote,
Yes.
approaching Rich.
So good.
Like the Jets and the Sharks from West Side Story. Facing off courtside at a Lakers game. It's just every angle of this is so just chef's kiss. Perfect.
Well, because on one hand, you're sitting there going, look, dude, if you're going to do a podcast, I'm sure you had this discussion. If you're going to do a podcast, you're going to have to talk like you would talk to your buddies. Like you're going to you're going to have to give your real opinions. Well, here's the problem. He's one of the most powerful people in the NBA. And when he gives his real opinions, people are going to be like, whoa, what?
But why is that a problem?
So good.
Why is that a problem?
I mean, it's a problem if you're Austin Reeves' agent, it's a problem.
Is it?
What?
So my problem with it is I don't think Jaren Jackson is a good fit on the Lakers. That's my problem with the whole thing. Funny. I'm like, of all the bigs you could possibly bring into Los Angeles, let's get like a rim runner roller type instead of Jaren Jackson.
No. They're looking at it and going, here's a guy who won Defensive Player of the Year. He can make up for the sins of slow feet don't eat on the outside. That's the thing there. You're going to have to find somebody that can block some shots and rim protect. And here's a guy. And then they see the Morant news. And then they're like, well, maybe they'll just go into a full rebuild. And so here's a guy that would be available. And that's a guy that would clean up. So when you just need somebody back there that's not DeAndre Ayton or Jared Vanderbilt, that when somebody inevitably blows by Luka Doncic or LeBron James or the list of guys that don't want to defend for that team, might block the shot.
That's totally fair. I don't think Jaren Jackson is a good fit for that team, especially with his contract.
It's hilarious.
All of it is great. I mean, the idea that because Rich Paul is an agent, that he's not allowed to be on a platform and express hypothetical trades about an NBA team is kind of silly to me. And the idea that he's like, that we need to go to LeBron now and ask LeBron what he thinks, and he has to explain that Rich Paul is not me. It's awesome.
What do you think Rich and LeBron's conversations off the air are like? I'm saying not in front of a microphone. When Rich says that and it goes viral, do you think LeBron is calling him going, bro, you're not making my life easy? Like, you got to remember, I'm in a locker room with the guy all the time. And no matter what I say, they're going to think that that's how I feel. Right. Or do you think he's going, yeah, I like that?
My honest answer is I don't know.
I wonder.
I don't know. But I don't think it's, you're not making my life easier, please slow down. Because I think that he wants Rich to pursue all opportunities in front of him.
Okay.
I don't think it's that. But I also don't think it's, talk your shit, Rich. I don't think it's that either.
You know.
No. I think they probably have a joke about it and a little laugh and just move on with their day and go golfing or whatever. Like, I don't think it's that big a deal in their world, to be honest with you.
All right,
I love it too.
Your last love.
All right, here we go. Oh, this one's easy. Tuesday night, my wife was supposed to go out to dinner, and she booked it in advance. She said, January 13th and 15th, I'm going out. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll take care of the kids. Whatever. You know, just got to go out sometimes. And you came to town January 13th. I was like, oh, man, I can't hang with Verno tonight.
Oh, look, you and me are in the same boat. You have a calendar on your fridge?
No.
Okay, I have a calendar on my fridge. I have never written anything on the calendar.
That's not for us.
But the calendar,
that's for you to read. You're not allowed to write on the calendar.
The calendar. Yeah. The calendar is full, but I've never looked at it, and I've never contributed to it.
Yes. The whole function of the calendar is so my wife can carve out time for her to do shit without the family. That is the only reason. It's not like, oh, we got to pick up Chloe from gymnastics or Quincy has to go to math tutor. Right. None of that matters. It's really, I'm going to dinner this night. I'm getting my nails done at this day. Yes. This Sunday, I'm getting my hair done. Oh, by the way, me and such are going to drive to Boston on this day. It's all just like carving out time for herself. That's the whole function of her family calendar. But she carved out the 13th. I texted her that day and said, are you going out tonight? She said, no. And I said, okay, Verno, me and you, New York City, let's do this. There wasn't much going on. It's a Tuesday night. I'm also in the middle of dry January. I paused dry January for an evening to hang with Verno. It doesn't happen that often. So put a pause on that. I will not be. There will be no makeup game on February 1st. By the way, just want to know. Just want the world to know that. And then we went to the Marquette St. John's game at MSG. Great seats, great
seats.
environment, better game than we thought it was going to be. The Giants are supposed to blow them out, but Marquette kept it close. We fell in love with Nigel James Jr. He was number 0 on Marquette.
Yep.
We fell in love with Chase Ross.
Number
He's number 2 with 2 big dunks.
Yep.
I was like, these Marquette guys look like awesome. And I was not impressed by the potential pro on St. John's, this guy Zuby. Not impressed.
I was stunned. I will say, it was awesome to be in the Garden. I certainly appreciate you taking me out there. I was stunned by going to the Garden and it feeling like, I guess I didn't know what I was doing. So a lot of times you go to like games in like LA or New York, right? You go to the game and like, so I live in a small market. So I would say a very high percentage of an audience is wearing fan gear, right? Like they're wearing Grizzlies stuff, or they're wearing Memphis Tigers stuff, or they're right. Like that's the uniform. Whereas when you go to games in big markets, it's like guys that get off work, guys in suits. Yeah. Like most people, even when we went to the Knicks game, like most people are not wearing Knicks gear. There's Knicks gear spread throughout, but even on that front row, no celebrities wearing Knicks gear or nothing like that. And I felt like everybody in that whole damn place was wearing St. John's stuff except for us. Like everybody was wearing St. John's. And then there was Marquette like alums. And so you saw people wearing Marquette stuff. But it was so striking to me to be in this environment. And like, I saw at least a dozen Chris Mullin jerseys. It was just odd. Like,
I think there's an allegiance to your college that's different than an allegiance to your pro team.
Yeah, but
they're like alumni, just really, really like rep for their schools a lot. And I felt a vibe when number 2 did the first dunk. Verno gets very excited. Let's have a yelp and a fist bump. And I'm kind of like looking to my left and my right, being like, Verno, this is not a Marquette crowd right here. This is a St. John's crowd.
Everybody in our section and everybody in virtually every section was wearing red.
Yeah. And then the second dunk, Verno gets excited again. And then some heads start turning, being like, who the fuck is this guy? Is he a Marquette guy?
It was awesome.
It was
awesome. And St. John's ended up putting the screws to him, later in the second half for sure. But it's wild seeing Rick Pitino on the sideline and St. John's and all.
Do you think he dyes his hair?
All for sure. And all these people super into it.
I got
swept up in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went to a bar for the stupid Spurs Thunder game, which ended up being a dud.
No, you were an amazing host. That was super fun.
But the bar ended up being we just ended up talking about nothing because the game was boring. But had a great time.
That's
a great time. So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you this at the time.
Okay.
So I wanted to walk Verno back to his hotel, right? Verno, we get near his hotel. And Verno starts hinting, being like, yeah, like I'm, okay, I'm good from here. Like I'll be all right from here. Did you go back out after I left?
Oh, for sure not.
Oh, I was about to say, because it seemed like you were like had an alternate plans. You were like, yeah, I'm close enough. Yeah, I got it from here, Jacoby.
Well, that's because my hotel was like in an alley. I wasn't going to make you walk up through the alley when your car was going to be coming to the outside.
I'm there to protect you, Verno. You need protection.
I was done.
You're just a little babe from the South.
Trust me, I was done. I'm old.
Yeah, me too.
I'm old.
Me too.
It was too late for me already.
Yeah, I'm back on dry January. I feel better in the mornings.
No question. All right, my last load. Okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it just feels ridiculous. But the Dylan Brooks revisionist history, I can't do this anymore. Okay? He is playing great. He has been great for Phoenix.
But hold on. Before you continue, I'm all over the internet. Anything that happens in the NBA sphere, I've jumped all over. But you need to catch the people up listening to the mismatch that might not be following Dylan Brooks' comments as closely as you think.
Basically that, he went on to praise Houston. If you could trade Kevin Durant, you got to trade Kevin Durant. It's not like Memphis where they've fallen off, which, by the way, Houston was like the 2 seed last year as of reporting, they have kind of fallen off, but that's neither here nor there. And the Grizzlies didn't fall off because they got rid of Dillon Brooks. The Grizzlies fell off for a myriad of things. Most importantly, Ja Morant playing 9 games the next year and then 50 games the subsequent year, right? Like, I understand that those things happened in conjunction, but this revisionist history, and Phoenix will go through it too. Houston went through it last year. I don't know how effusive in praise I could be in terms of a guy that cares about it, a guy that gives it his all every single night, that kind of attitude does permeate the team. Do they miss having a guy like Dillon Brooks? Certainly. But Dillon Brooks shot 30% in the playoffs. He shot 20% from 3.
But a high volume too, though.
All the time.
A high volume.
So stop with the revisionist history here. Like, and it will happen to you too. Like, Ime split on him last year. And look, they lost in a game 7 in the first round to the Warriors last year. Do you remember him? Do you remember?
No, not in the game 7, no.
Okay. Yeah, nobody does. All I'm saying is, like, then the way it all ended, he said they tried to make me the scapegoat there. Number one, played against the Lakers, and he goes and says, I poke bears, talking about LeBron James. In shades with the DB chain and the fur coat, the whole 9. We go out there and get beat by 1,000. He skips out of the arena, does not do media, so doesn't answer for any of this. Then we get to year-end media day, skips out on that, never shows up, never faces the music after he's the one. Like, he was at the front of the line saying, I don't give a shit. Let's do this. I poke bears. That's what I do. And then LeBron and the Lakers proceeded to beat the Grizzlies by literally 1,000. And you were the guy on the front line.
Was he like 3 for 15 or something in that game
terrible.
too? Yeah.
Terrible. And LeBron is confronting him before the game, saying, you're running that mouth. You're not like that. You're not like that. And then they proceeded to literally humiliate the Grizzlies. And the guy that was in the front line of said humiliation bolted out of the locker room without talking and then didn't show up for media day.
Well, didn't they trade him like 2 weeks into the offseason or something?
Could we stop having the revisionist history of what he, like, it was all dandelions and sun rays? Because that's how it ended. The idea that they moved on from that is not crazy at all. At all. A guy that shot a high volume at 30% and 20% from 3, and then pissed off the other team to the point where they beat the shit out of you so badly that it's like franchise altering. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on. Enough. I'm not allowing, that one's not sliding.
So was he a free agent? And then the Grizzlies announced that they were not in the Dillon Brooks business.
That they would not re-sign him under any circumstances.
Yeah, but they did that like 4 days after the season ended, right? Like, I remember the timing was wild.
I'm happy for him. He has become a much different player. But like with all the Ja stuff going on, whatever, it's free reign to be able to take shots. But like, look, if you were thinking about the number one reason, like, because some people do bring that up, they'd be like, I should have never gotten rid of Dillon Brooks. Like, the number one reason that it has gone the way it has in Memphis for 3 years is that your best player doesn't play. That's it. That's it. He played 9 games the next year. He played 50 games the next year. And this year's played what, like 18 or something like that? Like, that's number one on the list of reasons. Getting rid of a small forward that didn't shoot 40% is not, like,
And I think that for Dylan Brooks to be who he is now, he needed to leave the Grizzlies.
And play for Ime Udoka.
Yes.
He was never going to be told not to do that in Memphis because he was the longest tenured guy. Dylan Brooks said in an interview that they were the big three. And that Ja was like Wade and Jaren was like Bosh. You know who that makes him?
LeBron James.
Okay.
My final loathe is not going to be popular. I thought it was a great dunk, but there's too much about the Anthony Black dunk already.
No, there's not.
I've heard too much already. If you dunk on somebody, generally that person is between you and the basket, and they are attempting to block the shot.
No.
What the Anthony Black dunk is visually impressive. It makes a great still frame, but he did not dunk on 4 Grizzlies. 4 Grizzlies jumped in his vicinity while he dunked in transition.
But this
was not him coming down the lane, going chest to chest with a rim protector, cocking it back behind his head, and then dunking on somebody.
Terrible take. Terrible.
Yeah, listen, it was a good dunk. It was an impressive feat of athleticism, but calling it the dunk of the year, saying he dunked on 4 Grizzlies when 2 of them were behind him, no. It just the circumstances led to a very impressive visual.
No.
But he did not dunk on 4 Grizzlies.
During the context of the game that he shifts through everybody to get to that point, and in an indictment of the Grizzlies for possible contests. It's not his fault that they didn't contest it properly. That dunk is awesome. That is one of the most outrageous things I've ever seen.
See, I disagree.
No, come on. Terrible.
I disagree.
No, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. That would
I'm a hater.
And you know what? That was a father-son moment. William was watching the game with me as it happened, and I mean, both of us like leapt out, like, oh my God.
Hold on a second.
That was unbelievable.
Shouldn't William be at school?
Yesterday was a half day for Grandparents' Day.
Oh, what?
Figure that out.
They make up so many reasons to keep these kids at school. Grandparents' Day? What the fuck is Grandparents' Day?
I don't know.
I've never heard of that before in my whole entire life.
That's what it was.
Grandparents' Day?
I didn't.
So William had a half day.
Correct.
Came home early from school.
No, after he went to Outback. With his grandparents.
So he got a bloomin' onion with his grandparents.
I asked him that, and I said, did you eat a bloomin' onion? He said, no.
You go to Outback and don't get a bloomin' onion?
Do you know what this? I was like, this is the most 15-year-old thing ever. I said, what did you get? He said, a filet. I said, what? At noon? Okay. I was like, well, I guess you were going to run up the bill on the grandparents, huh? Crazy. I didn't even know you could get a onion. To me, that is wild to go get I would never even. I don't know. I guess
a steak for lunch is doable. I think that's what Anna Wintour did like her entire life in Devils Wear Prada too, coming out soon. Anne Hathaway.
I just don't. I feel like I need a nap after I, you know what I mean? Eat a
I could
big
do a
steak.
filet for lunch. I could do a 12-ounce filet for lunch. Yeah, just the filet, no potatoes. Filet with some like spinach. Like some vegetables. Think that'd be nice.
You know what? I'm going to try it one day. I don't think I've ever eaten a steak for lunch in my life.
But you've had like beef and broccoli for lunch from a Chinese food place.
Yep.
Same thing. You've had a steak salad for lunch.
Probably.
Just chopped up and put over lettuce.
Probably.
Go get yourself a filet for lunch today, buddy.
I got Joe's Pizza when I was there in your town. I liked
pizza
it.
Slice.
I like Joe's. Every celebrity in the world was on that wall. Joe's got it going.
Good slice. You weren't impressed with my slice and a half idea, though, which I've pitched before on many Ringer podcasts. But a brief pitch before we go is I used to be a professional pizza maker, and we used to cut the pies. Essentially, you just cut the pies into half slices. So when you go to a slice shop, you can have 3 different kinds of pizza. They're just half slices instead of one type of pizza. And what was your order when you went to Joe's? What was your order?
I got 2 cheese pizzas.
2 cheese slices. That's ridiculous. I mean, live your life, dude.
I just
Get
think
a
you're
pepperoni,
addressing.
Get a sausage.
I think you're addressing a very minor problem.
Well, you can make major money addressing minor problems.
That's fair. That's fair. Jacoby's Pizza it is.
I can't wait to talk on Tuesday when Ja Morant is on the Heat or whatever.
Well, they're just going to leave him in London.
They should.
With one of those like big furry hats. All right. It's going to do it for another episode of The Mismatch. Thank you to our producer, Jesse Lopez, as always. Jacoby, I'll talk to you next week.
Must be 21 or over and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 and over and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.